Hey, welcome to Ultimate Survival Tips. I'm David. Well, today we're out here on the mountain and I'm going to show you how to set a basic snare. The first thing we're going to do is find a good location. Then I'm going to show you everything you need to know to use paracord and wire to set a basic snare to increase your probability that you're going to catch something in a survival situation. Okay, let's get started. So as we get started talking about snares and traps, probably the most important thing that you need to consider is location. Number one reason that people fail at catching anything when they set a snare or a trap is because they really haven't done their homework. You've got to be patient, you've got to look around, you've kind of got to know what to look for too. Now I know since we're up in the mountain here that there's really not very many rabbits. There's virtually no raccoons up here, but I do know that there's a lot of squirrels. So what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for nests in trees, I'm looking for holes in trees, and I'm looking for any indication of trails and highways that the squirrels are traveling. So if you don't get this step right, chances of you catching something are pretty slim. So we want to find the highest probability of spot to set our snare, because we're only going to set one or two. Kelvin and I already scoped this out, spent about 15 or 20 minutes, and we found a real nice spot here for a snare. So here we are at the base of this tree. Now, looks to me like the squirrels can get right up in this tree, and it's kind of neat because there's only two ways out. There's this side and there's this other side, so we can really isolate, put two snares here and have a pretty high probability of catching something. Now that we know we're dealing with a squirrel, we can go over here, prepare our materials, and get started. Okay, now that we have our location all scoped out and we know we're going to be snaring a squirrel, that's going to make it a lot easier on us. Now to reduce the amount of scent that you get on your materials, you're going to want to have a pair of gloves. Now I've got holes in mine, but that's going to be okay. Next we're going to need a stick, and we're actually going to do two snares. Here I'm going to do one with paracord and one with wire. And so this is going to be like a stake, and it's going to hold our snare in place. We're going to need some wire, some paracord, a knife, and I'm going to use my axe. So to get started, we just need to kind of fashion and shape this stick a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of this. Let's see if we can get two out of this big piece here. Whoops. That's one. Okay. There's two. So these guys are just going to get driven into the ground, and I think we've got enough of a stake. And then we need to put a point on one end. What's going to be our best end? We'll go with the smaller end in the ground. So. Like I said, quick and dirty. There's one. Let's go with this end in the ground. Nothing fancy. All right, now we're gonna need some wire. And for squirrels, we probably want to use a 24 gauge or a 26 gauge wire. And I've got this nifty green stuff. And I just picked this stuff up at Walmart. Pick it up in the craft section. It's basically floral wire, and it's this nice green color. So it's gonna make it very low visibility. I've got this 24 gauge wire here. I'm gonna go ahead and use the gold, just because we're gonna be able to see it a little bit better. What I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna put a little notch around this top area to kind of catch the wire. Let the wire kind of embed itself in there. Keep it from slipping up or slipping down. Okay. And we're basically just going to take our wire, get it around here nice and tight. Do multiple twists. So we're just twisting that on. Nothing special, nothing fancy. Okay. Next we need to make our noose. I just poked myself. And from our stake, we're going to be about one hand from our stake. Give some room for this noose to work. We don't want to be too close. And then, so we want to be about a fist width for a squirrel, something like that. And we just kind of make a wire oriented slip knot like that. Oops. Okay, so see that? Slides nice and easy. So really, essentially, we're done with one of these. And we're going to do the same thing with paracord for the other one. Okay, so let's put our wire away here and get out some paracord. Just set that right there. And here we've got just standard 557 strand paracord. I'm just going to use a strand. That's going to be strong enough. So again, we want to go 1, 2, 3. About 3 hand lengths. Okay. Just be careful. And we're just going to extract the guts out of here. Grab ourselves a strand. All right. We'll do the same thing on this guy that we did on the other one. Just kind of make our way around here. Make a little notch. Clean this out. Please cut away from you. Okay, there we go, a little notch in there. I'm just going to do a kind of an overhand simple knot on the end here. Now all we need to do, now that we have an overhand knot in there, that's not going to come out. At least not with the force that the squirrel's going to put on it. Now there's our snare end. Now we just need to tie this other end off onto our stake. There we go. Okay, I don't think that's going up or down. We've got our snare end. We've got that. We've got our wire. Now let's go over and go to the tree and set these puppies up. Okay, so we're over by the tree now, and just some evidence that we've had some squirrels here. Got a couple of nuts, some half-eaten nuts, and it seems as though we've got a pretty nice little path coming down on in these two directions. But I realized that I've got a problem here. The soil's very, very organic and loose right around this tree. And I've noticed my stakes are just not long enough. We're going to have to bang stakes in pretty far. And they're just too loose. When you've got an animal fighting for its life, I mean, it could work that right out. So I'm going to go back, make some longer stakes, and then we'll come back and do this again. Okay, so I'm back, just finished some longer, much bigger sticks, and we'll see how this goes. So let's hammer these puppies in. Start with this paracord one. Now we want to lean the stake away from this angle here. I'm going to lean it a little bit away from the direction that the animal is going to be pulling when they get snared. Now that's going in pretty solid. I don't think anything's going to pull that out now. Now, there's our snare. I'm going to go about a hand's length away. Have that open to a little bit under a fist width. And we want it about a hand width off the ground. And since this is paracord, we're going to have to support this. So, looks like I'm going to need 2 of these. Okay, so there's one. Now let's go over to the other side. Okay, now we're on the other side of the tree, and you're going to see how easy it is to work with the wire opposed to the paracord. So let's just go ahead and hammer this stake in nice and tight. Ouch. That's not going anywhere. Just set up our wire. About a fist wide. I'm just going to put a little bump right here to stop it from sliding for now. And we just kind of set it up where we want it. And if we want, we can kind of set a stick in there, just like that. There we have it. Here's the deal. You need to make sure that you check your traps and snares often, because if you snag a squirrel here, we do have some bobcats around here, it's not going to last very long in that condition, and it's just plain waste. Now, we're not going to leave these snares out, and we're not going to catch anything live because there's a lot of people on YouTube that don't like that, and plus, I don't really need to eat squirrel tonight to survive. Well, that's it. Hope you enjoyed our introduction to basic snares. For your convenience, I've included links to all the gear that I've mentioned in the video description on YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And for more gear reviews, survival tips, and survival news, check out ultimatesurvivaltips.com. And while you're there, grab our monthly survival e-mag, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to get the latest news and be the first to hear about the great gear giveaway contests we have planned. Okay, this is David. I hope to see you on the other side, and remember, be prepared because you never know.